For now, I want to point out that because the sebum gland is part of the hormone system, and the hormone system is intimately related to food and intimately related to nutrition, or the lack thereof, and even the hormone system is even related to psychological issues and mental issues and emotional components or emotional dimensions of health. All of these impact the hormone system because moisturization is part of the hormone system. Now you've got a psychological and mental and emotional component to your dry skin or your healthy, beautiful, soft, and hydrated skin. There's so many options at our disposal for upregulating sebum secretions, for really moisturizing the skin. It's crazy just to rub wax and oil on top of your skin. And just like there's a lot of options at our disposal for increasing sebum production, there's lots of causes, potential causes anyway, for diminished sebum production and ultimately for dry skin. And because sebum, skin oil, also has antibacterial properties, antimicrobial properties, sun protection properties. Sebum is sun protective. How do you like that? The moisture factors that are in your skin, we'll talk about this tomorrow or maybe the next day. The moisture factors that are in your skin, they don't just moisturize your skin, they protect it from the sun. And any bonehead medical professional who tells you to slather on a sunscreen needs to start studying the skin and how it's put together. Because when you put a sunscreen on, typical sunscreen with wax and oil and emulsifier, you're going to suppress your natural sebum production, which means you're going to suppress your natural sun protection properties, or your skin's natural sun protection properties. On top of that, now you got to interface with all the toxicity that's in your typical sunscreen product. I'm telling you, man, if you need a sunscreen or a sunblock because you're going to be burning or you're going to be playing golf or you're on a cruise somewhere, then use it. But get it off your skin when you don't need it, and don't use it and don't apply it if you don't need it. The second mechanism for keeping your skin soft and hydrated and moist involves the skin cells themselves, the so-called keratin cells or keratinocytes. So the first mechanism for keeping the skin soft and hydrated are the sebum cells that make the skin oils, the cholesterol and the fatty acids and the squalene. The second mechanism are the skin cells that are called keratin cells, keratinocytes. Cyte, C-Y-T-E, means cell. So you have sebocytes, they make sebum, and then you have keratinocytes, they make keratin. Those are the two main cells in the skin that are involved with skin moisturizations. The keratin cells, the keratinocytes, those are ultimately going to form the barrier, the water-trapping barrier that keeps our skin from drying out and prevents water loss. Researchers call this TEWL, trans-epidermal water loss. And they'll measure TEWL to see how effective the skin barrier is. Or they will measure TEWL, trans-epidermal water loss, to see how effective their moisturizing wax is. I'll call it a moisturizing wax because that's really what a moisturizing cream and lotion is after you take out the 80% water. The main role of the skin is to act as a barrier, as protection for the internal structures of the body, and as a covering to prevent the entrance into the body of bacteria and fungus, as well as ultraviolet radiation, and to protect the skin against to protect the internal structures of the body against mechanical injury. It's a barrier that protects against mechanical injury. But the most, or one of the most important roles of the barrier is to keep moisture in. All right, we're coming back with more good health information right after. We are back on the bright side. Got a couple lines open for you. 844-236-6010 is our phone number. We'll get your calls here in just a sec. If you've tried to get on board in the past and haven't been able to, now's your opportunity. We do have two lines open for you. 844-236-6010. Let's see, a couple more things I wanted to say. You know what? I think I'm going to do this tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about, I saw a commercial yesterday, television commercial for a moisturizing cream. Of course, it got my attention. It was for a product that is considered to be the go-to moisturizing cream for dermatologists and for pharmacists. It's something we talked about in pharmacy school 25, 30 years ago. It's still around, and it's really an interesting product when you look at the ingredient deck, and we should all be looking at ingredient decks when we make a selection, when we select a skincare product or when we select a food product or a health product for that matter. We should all be ingredient deck readers, and The ingredient deck on this one product is really, really interesting, and I'm going to tell you about this tomorrow. We'll talk about this product tomorrow, and then we'll continue talking about dry skin, and then, if not tomorrow, the next day, we'll talk about a protein that you never hear about and nobody even really knows about, a protein that's extruded out of our fun factory skin cells that really, really, really may be the key protein, the key molecule, the key skin structure when it comes to preventing and protecting the skin from transepidermal water loss, TEWL, and to keep your skin soft and hydrated. And also, this protein molecule, as it turns out, has very important sun protection properties too. And we'll talk about that probably, if not tomorrow, we'll talk about that the next day. Friday, we'll also be talking to my new friend, Troy, who I serendipitously met earlier this week, actually late last week. And it turns out that Troy is the manufacturer of my second favorite longevity product. My first favorite longevity product is the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, of course. My second favorite longevity product, the one that I've been talking about for a long time, the Biolumin Nightly Essence. And I serendipitously, no accents of course, but I serendipitously ran into the manufacturer of the stuff, and I had to tell him what a great product it was, and I begged him, and he said, yeah, come on the show and we'll talk some probiotics. And Troy Opperly. We'll talk. He's the president of the Enzymology Research Center in Minnesota, Miltona, Minnesota. We'll talk to him on Friday. Okay, time to hit the phones. 844-236-6010. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Let's go to Oregon and welcome Todd to the bright side. What's going on, Todd? How you doing?
Hi, Ben. I actually had the honor of meeting you last time you were here in Portland, Oregon. Had a picture taken with
Todd.
you a little bit.
Is this Todd? Todd, the Cajun guy? My Cajun buddy?
Oh, the other Todd. There was two of us there.
Oh, you're the other Todd. Okay, I remember you.
Picture taken with you and stuff. But anyway, I wanted to get your thoughts on non-alcoholic fatty liver and what to do about it.
Oh, yeah. It's a big problem. NASH, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. They say it affects 1 out of 3 Americans, 100 million people, but it's probably more than that, which is a statement right there, Todd. I mean, how do you have 1 out of 3 people in a country who have a serious health issue? What does that say about a culture? When 1 out of 3 people have a significant, serious health problem like fatty liver disease. And by the way, they have to call it non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, because they have to distinguish it from cirrhosis of the liver that alcoholics get. In other words, today, everybody's got the same liver that an alcoholic had 25 or 30 years ago. 1 out of 3 Americans, not everybody, but 1 out of 3 Americans have the same kind of liver problem that you used to have to drink Jack Daniels out of a paper bag to get 20, 30 years ago. And it's only been 20 or 30 years that this epidemic has hit. You guys, if you're in the healthcare business, if you're not in the healthcare business, you may not realize this, but if you're in the healthcare business, it is absolutely mind-blowing, absolutely astounding what has happened to the health of the American public, of the typical American, just in the last 30 years. I graduated pharmacy school in 1986. 30 years ago, 29 years ago, I graduated pharmacy school, and it was nothing like it was today. Autism and diabetes and obesity and skin diseases and cancer and heart disease. All of these things are going through the roof. And we got more doctors, and we got more drugs, and we got more commercials, and we got more healthcare shows, and we got more Dr. Oz's and representatives of the medical model telling us how to get healthy. And yet we're falling apart. Clearly, there's something wrong. When it comes to the liver, here's the thing, Todd. The liver is the most multifunctional, arguably the most multifunctional system in the body, but primarily it does 2 things. Well, I don't even want to say that, but 2 of the most important things it does are digest your food and detoxify substances. And by the way, I'm including prescription drugs when I talk about those substances. That means if you have a digestive problem, and by the way, the liver also processes sugar. So if you have a digestive problem and you have a sugar problem and your boneheaded medical professional puts you on a drug, now your liver has to do more work. Who came up with this? Where is the logic here? What organ in the body processes drugs? The liver. So you got a situation where our livers are overworked because of the food we're eating, digestive problems, blood sugar problems, hormone problems, because, the liver processes hormones. And now you take prescription drugs. Now you got to add that to the mix. So for fatty liver disease, first of all, treat it as a digestive health problem. Fasting, that's the best thing you could do for fatty liver disease, and caloric restriction. Using probiotics. There's a very important relationship between the biolumin nightly essence, probiotics, and fat metabolism. And the liver does a lot of fat processing. So making sure you're getting on your probiotics, super important for liver health. Biolumin nightly essence, of course, and listen in on Friday. We'll talk about liver health with Troy Opperly from Biolumin nightly essence on this Friday. Use the flavonoids. Go to brightsidehealthproducts.com. Get the Bergamax flavonoids. Bergamax flavonoids can be very helpful, and all bioflavonoids can be very helpful for the health of the liver. And don't underestimate the importance of vitamin C for liver health. Stupendously valuable for the health of the liver. Of course, you'll get that in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Stabilize your blood sugar, because the liver is, along with the pancreas, the most important of the sugar processing organs in the body. If you have any problems with sugar, and by the way, fructose is especially damaging to the liver. So if you have liver disease, or you don't want to have liver disease, stay away from high fructose corn syrup, and be very careful with fruits and fruit juices. Use the Sweeties, use the Healthy Start Pack. If you want to throw a couple other things in there, get on the Ultimate Selenium, which can be very helpful for liver health. Selenium is an active component of the liver's most important detoxifying element, glutathione. And make sure you're eating enough quality protein and using your digestive enzymes and apple cider vinegar with that quality protein. So many things you could do. And don't underestimate the importance of a good fast and just plain old caloric restriction. Vitamin E, if you want to do a couple more things, 400 IU of vitamin E, 20,000 IU of vitamin A, and also coenzyme Q10 can have some beneficial effects for the liver. Look for oil-soluble coenzyme Q10, maybe 100 to 200 milligrams a day. All right, Todd, I got to move on. Thanks for your call, bro. And maybe we'll see you again sometime soon in Oregon. I love Oregon. Next to Colorado and maybe Washington State, my favorite state in the union. All right, Lady in Texas, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
I have a skin problem.
Okay, we can help you. That's our specialty. Here on the Bright Side. Except we got to take a break, lady. Can you hang on? Hang on a sec, because we'll take a break and we'll come back and talk skin. 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. We're back on the Bright Side from, let's see, this article is from NutraIngredients.com. Probiotics may slash triglyceride levels, according to a study. Data from a double-blind, placebo-controlled study with 92 people with borderline and moderate high triglycerides found that a probiotic supplement was associated with a 20% reduction in blood fats. So this is from Nutrition, Metabolism, and Cardiovascular Disease. This is something I've been saying for a long time. There's a really, really fundamental, critical, and not really appreciated relationship between blood fats and probiotics and gut bacteria. And we were talking to Todd earlier about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is a fatty issue, obviously. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, using probiotics via its role in stabilizing and lowering blood fats can be one of the best things you could do to protect your liver, to protect your heart, to protect your blood. Just lowering blood fats, and maybe our epidemic of heart disease, maybe our epidemic of blood fat, of elevated blood fats, has something to do with dysbiosis, messed up gut bacteria. Get on the probiotics, get on the Biolumin Nightly Essence, and listen in this Friday, day after tomorrow. We're going to talk to Troy Opperly about the Biolumin Nightly Essence, which is actually his formulation. Okay, lady in Texas, what's going on? Got some skin issues?
Yes, I have a problem every time I wax or shave or any way I do it, my legs, my armpits, anywhere really. I get
you break out, rashy?
Not like all over, but I'll get like clogged up pores or ingrown hairs.
Okay,
And
you got a skin thing. Yes, you got a skin problem. You probably have some other stuff going on. How old are you? Is it Lady? Is that how you say your name? Lady? How do you say?
Lady.
Lady.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
I thought, yeah.
Okay. How do you tell me about? Let me ask you a couple other things. Do you have other skin problems? Do you break out? Do you have acne or anything like that?
I don't have too bad of acne, really.
What do you mean, wow, lady? Not too bad. What do you mean, not too bad? Do you have any?
I mean, I have like maybe one or two, but and sometimes I don't really break out